Hi, friends. Third time filming this intro because your girl cannot film an intro to save her life. In today's reading, we are going to be looking at what is making you feel stuck, why you're feeling stuck, and how you can free yourself from this feeling. There are 3 piles to choose from. There are no crystals here today because my crystals are not physically with me right now, but there are 3 stacks of oracle cards to choose from. So this is pile 1, this is pile 2, and this is pile 3. You can choose based off of your intuition, based off of like any stack of cards that you feel drawn to. If you feel drawn to more than one, that's okay too. There might be messages for you in both, but just remember to only take what intuitively is your message, not something that you have to second guess, not something that you have to question if it's for you or not. If it's for you, you will know immediately, I promise. And if you have to question it, then it's probably not your message. But yeah, once you pick your pile, you can scroll down to the description box where I will have the timestamps listed, and then I will see you in your reading. Bye! Hi, pile 1. If you chose this stack of oracle cards, then this is going to be your reading about why you feel stuck and how you can free yourself from this feeling of stuckness. So, oh, not my hair in the frame. That's awkward. So basically how this reading is going to go is we're going to first start by looking at these oracle cards, these first 3 oracle cards, to see what it is that's making you stuck. And then this oracle card plus tarot cards will represent how you can free yourself from this feeling of stuckness and what you can do to make yourself feel better and to help you feel more free. So to start, for what is making you stuck, we have overflow, overwhelm, and plenty. We have repairing the veil, forgiveness, and then we have the temple path. So for numbers, we have a 3, a 7, and a 9. So all odd numbers, which I think is interesting. So what's making you feel stuck? First, I want to note that you might actually be in a really interesting time frame. I'm thinking of that video of Ariana Grande when she's talking about her Thank You Next album, and she's like, it's like a speech she gave. I can't remember where it was at, but she was like, how it's been like the best year of her life, like career-wise, but the worst year personally. And this is kind of the vibe that I'm getting from you guys. It seems like with this overflow card, you might actually be in a state or a period of abundance. Like you might find that like you're like maybe you're making a lot more money now than you were before. You could be able to buy the clothes that you want to buy the shoes you want to buy. Maybe money is not so much of an issue for you, and maybe you have a big friend group, or it seems like your life is filled with like material abundance. And even if you're not a billionaire, that's okay. Like I think for you and your relative experience, like you're at a pretty good place financially, or at least however you would define material abundance. I feel like you're there, but there is this feeling of you not feeling good enough or feeling like you deserve what you have. And with this card, I kind of feel, and with a temple path, like I feel like you have this feeling, even if you know something is destined for you, or even if you know that you have worked hard for something, you have this feeling of like you can never quite how do I say it? It's like it's not even that you're not grateful. It's like you feel like you're not allowed to enjoy it. You feel like you're not allowed to fully be happy with what you have. And with this card, I feel like Spirit's saying you are on the right path. Like you are doing great. And I almost feel like the fact that you're being triggered by this makes sense, because if you are like on a path right now that is like that's absolutely your purpose, that you even if you don't know it, you could be living out your purpose right now, but because it's your purpose, the path is windy and it doesn't always make sense. And sometimes it can be very triggering because it has strong ties to your soul. And with this card, I feel like there is specifically childhood wounds around, maybe like around your sense of deservedness with abundance and with money and with love. Because overflow, this could be not just about money, monetary abundance, but also like love and joy. I feel like when you look outside of you, you have all these reasons why you should be happy, and it's like these odd numbers. Like you feel like you don't, well, I guess 12 is an even number, but when it reduces down to 3, which is odd, and you might feel like you're not quite, like you feel uneasy, or like you're wearing shoes that are too big for you. Like you don't, you feel stuck because even though you're receiving a lot, you don't feel happy or grateful for what you have. And this is not me shaming you and being like, you should be grateful, because it's not that simple. But I do sense that you feel, it's not even that you're not grateful too. It's more so that it's like you don't know if you're allowed to enjoy or celebrate what you have. Um, and I think what this forgiveness card is about is you needing to forgive yourself, or your inability to forgive yourself for maybe like mistakes you've made in the past, or maybe you just feel shame around the fact that you can't celebrate your accomplishments, and that's something you're like kind of upset at yourself for, or you wish like, oh, why am I like this? Like, why can't I just be happy? And Spirit saying like, shaming yourself is not quite the way to rid yourself of these feelings. I feel like there might be deep roots. Oh my gosh, I'm seeing this meme like really strong in my mind, where it's like this guy and he has these boxing gloves on, and he's like me ready to fight these childhood wounds, or no, me ready to heal. And then the next slide is like, damn, it has deep roots in my subconscious. It's so much funnier when you actually see it. But basically it's like I think you might be afraid to face what's actually underneath this kind of imposter syndrome that you have, although I don't even feel like it's that either. It's more of like you feel guilty is what it is. Like, you feel guilty for achieving so much, or you feel guilty for having the life that you have always dreamt of. It's like maybe you feel like you're not ready, or you're not like you need to wait a little bit, or you need to heal a little bit more before you can receive this abundance. But it's like you're stuck mentally and emotionally, more so emotionally. I feel like emotionally you're feeling like you're trapped and you can't quite be present in what you have, because it's like you feel like you don't deserve it. Even this card, actually, the fact that it says overwhelm is like, in the book it talks about how there's this feeling of like, oh, I don't deserve what I have, or this feeling of like some people get to be abundant but others don't, which is like a limiting belief that society tries to tell us, when actually we all deserve to have abundance and to be, taken care of, right? And you might have this mentality too, where it's like, oh, I don't deserve this, like I didn't work hard enough, or whatever it might be. It'll be different for all of you, but that's definitely what's keeping you stuck, is this feeling of guilt and shame, like I don't deserve the abundance that I have. But for how you can free yourself from this, answer the call. What is your soul calling you to do? And we're also going to get tarot cards for this too. But starting with that, one thing that I think you should consider too is, if your heart is kind of like, if your soul is telling you like, hey, or not even just your soul, like if you had this deep feeling, you don't have to call it your soul. You could just call it like a feeling that you have, that you need to face something from your past, or you need to like really think about or dwell on and journal about maybe some like triggering beliefs that you were taught when you were young, or just that guilty feeling that you have. I think it's important for you to explore that, because I feel like you are listening to your soul's calling, in terms of like this temple path card. I think that's what's being confirmed here. But it's like you might feel guilty about that. It's almost like sometimes, like if you see the people around you kind of suffering or going through some difficult stuff, and you were in that place too, but you got out of it, it's like survivor's guilt. That's kind of what it is. Except I don't know if that phrase is used for like a specific type of guilt, or like a specific type of survivor's guilt, but it almost seems like survivor's guilt. Like, I got myself through this, or I was born into this kind of dynamic, but now I'm here, and you might feel guilt about that. And it's like, you got to forgive yourself. It's Spirit, how else can pile one free themselves from this feeling that they have, from this stuck feeling? How else can pile one free themselves from this stuck feeling? The Hanged Man. So we have Neptune energy here, as well as the Five of Wands. So with the Hanged Man and with the Five of Wands, I think you also, you need to accept as well that you can't quite... you can't force people to understand why you're choosing the path that you're choosing, and you can't force people to understand anything really. You can explain yourself, that is an option. If there are if there are people disagreeing with you, or people who are kind of angry at you or upset at you, or maybe throwing shade your way because you are in a different place in your life now where you're happier, unfortunately you can't change people's minds. That is just a sad, reality. Well, it's not that sad, but it can be annoying, right? When you want people to understand where you're coming from. But with the Hanged Man, I think you're being asked to just surrender that, to let go of the idea that you need to make people understand why you're doing the things that you're doing. Because if you are truly happy and you're at peace with your decisions and you're not causing harm, you know what I mean? Then you're doing perfectly fine. I think you think about the opinions of others a little too much, specifically in regard to like your actions. Even with the Hanged Man, when I see this card, I always imagine the public as well. You know how like in the past, I mean, maybe this still happens in other countries. Actually, I'm sure it does, but like public executions, and how people like watch, like the town will all come out to like see the criminal be hung or something, which is so wild. But it's like you might be nervous that like people are watching you from afar and judging you. And with this Five of Wands, I wouldn't be surprised if people are actually like picking fights with you, or arguing with you, disagreeing with you about like whether you have earned what you have, or whether you truly deserve it, or whether you're on the right path or not. And I feel like, I mean, these people might mean well, but Spirit just wants you to let go of that, because this is what's keeping you stuck. If you want to be, the Lovers, so Gemini energy. So if you want to be free from this guilt that you have, part of that means letting go of the fact that you can't please everybody. You can't make everybody happy with your decisions. And that has to be something you let go of. It's not easy though. It is very uncomfortable, and it's, you know, it's tough. It's not an easy thing to unlearn. But that's something that I think you should consider like retraining your mind to do. And with the Six of Cups here and the Lovers, this is really interesting, because I do feel like part of what you're doing is you're coming back to yourself and you're meeting yourself again. I feel like this Lovers is about you and yourself, like kind of basically like a self-love journey, or like coming home to self, a homecoming journey. But we have the Ace of Swords. Let's get one more. How can pile one free themselves from this feeling, this stuck feeling that they have? How can pile one free themselves? I hope that breath wasn't scary for you. I didn't mean to startle anybody. The Seven of Wands. Yeah. Back of the deck is Judgment. You do have, okay, Pluto energy here, or Scorpio. You really have to make peace with the fact that you can't please everybody. You can't explain yourself to everybody. I feel like Spirit wants you to let go, like to put down your arms is literally like the phrase that I heard, but I don't know if it's more metaphorically. I mean, and you know, like I'm not saying you guys have your arms up, but like lay down your arms, let yourself be at peace. Okay, I'm so sorry for the yelling in the background, but basically Spirit's saying the only call you have to answer is your own. And I feel like you are a very sweet person, and you have a sort of, I actually want to see what the Six of Cups is about. Can I get one more card with the Six of Cups, please? I'm not taking that. That came out kind of weird. Can I get a clarifier for the Six of Cups? The Eight of Cups. Oh, interesting. Interesting. So, okay, I think I understand what's happening here. Back to the deck, now we have Justice, which is Libra energy. Okay, I think I see kind of, you know, for some of you, you might have this feeling that you had to grow up fast. Maybe when you were young, it felt like you didn't really, you literally had a childhood because you were a child at some point. But I feel like you had to start, like you matured really fast because you had to. I feel like a lot of what your journey is at this time has to do with healing inner child wounds, because I think that your soul and your inner child are like this in a way. It seems like you are learning how to place your own interests and your own values above other people, but it's tough because it's almost like you were separated from an early age. That sounds kind of convoluted, but it's almost like because when you were young, you had to grow up so fast, it's like you lost your innocence. And it's like you had to not intentionally walk away, because when you're a choice, when you're a kid, the choices are kind of limited, of course, but it's like, I think you had to kind of abandon yourself from a very young age. And so you kind of spent a long time living life for other people, living life to please others. And now that you are coming back to yourself and learning how to be whole within yourself again, it might feel very selfish, and it might even be argumentative, in the sense that you might feel like you putting yourself first might trigger other people. And it also triggers you as well that you're putting yourself first, because I feel like you might feel a bit selfish. What's interesting with this Overwhelm card is, now that I'm kind of getting the rest of this for how to free yourself, like Spirit is saying, like, the way you free yourself has nothing to do with the actual physical abundance. It doesn't mean that you let go of the abundance or you continue to acquire more until you get over your feelings of guilt. It has nothing to do with that. What you're being asked to do is to let yourself, one, be like connected to your inner child and to heal it, especially around feelings of guilt and feeling like you can't receive things and you're not allowed to have fun, you're not allowed to enjoy your life. But also, I think Spirit wants you to focus on releasing the need to defend yourself and explain yourself constantly. Because I feel like with this Ace of Swords here, and specifically the fact that it's in between, like the placement of it makes me feel like you're gonna gain a higher perspective on judgment and on the idea of like judging people, judging others, judging yourself. You're going to see things differently the more you heal your inner child. Because I think what you're going to start finding is that people who are judging you for following your own path, like you're going to start understanding how everything is kind of mirroring one another. That's sort of how I'm seeing it, because to start with the Neptune energy of the Hanged Man, it's like I think you're going to start seeing past illusions, and you're going to start noticing how oh my gosh, literally you're gaining a higher perspective. Yeah, it's like literally from the 5 to the 7. It's like because you know you're going to be learning, or the way that you free yourself will bring you closer to yourself, which means that you are no longer going to, or you're going to start placing your own opinion on yourself over others. But I also feel like there's some sort of clarity that you're gaining about why people are even judging you to begin with. I think this is going to help you have more sympathy for others, but I also feel like it's going to help you, again, be less defensive, because you're going to start seeing that when people are judging you for answering the call, it's more so that they're judging themselves for not answering the call. This really seems like you are going to be gaining a lot of clarity, and that's going to help you. It's going to help you live your life for yourself a lot more easily instead of having that constant resistance. Because remember, this answer the call card and all the tarot cards are what you need to do to free yourself. And ow, sorry, I have to shift my perspective. My feet are getting a little uncomfy. I'm sitting on the floor. It's like what you need to do is, one, continue following what your intuition is leading you toward, and specifically things like if you feel called to I don't know why I keep wanting to say journal, like journal about your childhood, think about your childhood experiences. That would be really useful for you. But also, like, maybe I'm also getting a service vibe as well, so you might feel called to do more service, like volunteer work, or like serving others, because I don't know why. Oh, the person's wearing blue here. I kept seeing this as this person almost. But I do feel like you had to give your innocence away in a sense. You had to let go of that and grow up really fast. And so it can be really uncomfortable for you to feel, to have people tell you what to do, because it's almost like, well, like it's almost like you were never, like, it's like you had to grow up so fast that when people try to tell you what to do, it feels like, it makes you feel like a child. But what you're going to be learning as you trust yourself more is that receiving and childlike energy is not a bad thing. And you're also going to be learning that people, the way people see you and what people project onto you is just a projection. Like, I think that you're really going to be learning profound truths the more that you connect with yourself, because the fact that we have the temple path, any path that is your purpose at any given point in time, because your purpose can change, it'll always have profound healing and profound lessons attached to it, because it's your purpose, at least at the time, at any given point what your purpose is, it'll have profound lessons for you. We also have we have 2 6s. Anyway, but yeah, I kind of want to finish with just one more card. Is there anything else, Spirit, that you want to say to pile 1? Is there anything else you want to say to pile? Okay, we're going to take both of these. The 9 of Wands, yeah. The Ace of Pentacles, yeah. Yeah. There is something you, like, I think you need to do some journaling or some falling back to the deck, journaling or some sort of healing work around your defensiveness and around this feeling you have that, like, you're not, like, you can't, it's like you have this wall. It's like you have a wall around your ego where you refuse to let people in, and you also refuse to let yourself in to yourself. You know what I mean? It's like you're blocking yourself off from you. But I think what you don't notice is like the fact that it's blocking you off from a lot of stability and from a lot of, not even like, a more solid lifestyle for you. Because I feel like with this Ace of Pentacles, you're kind of already there in some ways. I do feel like you're in an abundant place in time. It's just you can't let yourself fully exist in that. And notice this person is like not facing the ace. They're looking over their shoulder. You know, it's like all the energy and time you're spending worrying about who you're pleasing and whether people are okay with your decisions. It's taking away from your ability to really enjoy the moment that you're in and really have fun and be proud of how far you've come. A lot of this stuckness that you feel is guilt and shame around the fact that you think you don't deserve what you have. And the way that you free yourself is one, connecting with your inner child and understanding why it is that you have these feelings of guilt and shame to begin with. And it also is about gaining clarity. I think the clarity will come through the inner child healing, but it's also about the clarity that you're going to gain about judgment in general and what it means for you to place judgment or for people to place judgment on you. I think you're going to start seeing almost the child in other people. You're going to start seeing like how everybody is kind of just like a child in an adult body if they are an adult. And I think that's going to help you have more compassion for others as well. But your journey is definitely an inner child healing / self-love journey. That's what I feel like you're currently on. And it's okay if it's tough because it's stuff like that is never easy. But if this is resonating with you and like that's hopefully this can give you like guidance or some idea of where to begin with healing if you haven't really taken time to, you know, hone in on this yet. So yeah, pile one. I'm gonna leave your reading here. Thank you so much for watching this reading all the way through if you did. And if it resonated, amazing. I'm so glad that it did. And I wish you good luck on your journey. If it didn't resonate, feel free to just discard these messages. If they don't resonate, then they're probably just not for you. And if you want to support me in any way, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, do any of those things. But you don't have to. It's totally optional. But I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching. And I hope I see you again here soon. Bye. Hi, pile two. If you chose the stack of oracle cards, then this is going to be your reading all about why you feel stuck right now. Oh, sorry, that's water on my hands. And what you can do to free yourself from this feeling of being stuck. So how this is going to work is we're going to use these four oracle cards. You got an extra one from this brown deck. We're going to use these cards to see what it is that's making you feel stuck. You know, all about what this thing is and you know, I guess there's nothing else to say there, so just that. And then we're going to use this oracle card as well as tarot cards to see how you can free yourself from this feeling of stuckness. And I'll get more cards if I feel like I need to, but this is kind of what we have set up for us now. So pile two, what is making you feel stuck? I keep stuttering, oh my goodness. To start, we have the wall, obstacles. You know, this is a really pretty card in terms of imagery, but we have that. We also have heart home with compassion, and we have magician sword, confidence in your magic. So a 10, a 9, and an 11. Oh, 9, 10, 11. That's cool. Okay. So, oh, I lied. Oh my goodness, one more. Sorry, envy. I was going to put this back. Envy, number 20. Okay. Ooh, okay. Very interesting. Yeah, so you feel, okay. I can kind of see. Pile two. So what's making you feel stuck? Well, for one, you feel a lot of jealousy, envy of other people and of who people are, what they have, their beauty, their way that they speak, etc., etc. I think you look at other people a lot and you get very jealous because you feel like, well, why can't I be like that? Why don't I look like that? Or, you know, they think they're so cool because of X, Y, and Z. Like, I think that you judge people quite a bit, and you also judge yourself quite a bit. And I think that you feel like you're inadequate because of who you are and who you are not. What's interesting is, first with the magician, the sign of Gemini or Virgo could be significant because the tarot card, the Magician tarot card is associated with Mercury. Also with the heart home, I keep thinking of Leo and Cancer energy. But anyway, oh, actually the second, oh, never mind, that's Taurus. I lied. Just kidding. Anyway, anyway. Yeah, I think you feel a lot of jealousy, deep, deep jealousy. And I think that this is actually like, what's interesting is I feel like you are actually you're probably a really amazing, incredible person. I think that what happens in your case, even though you have a lot of stuff about you and that is just like really remarkable, you can be very witty, very funny, probably very, very loving. But I feel like this wall that exists is actually a blockage in your heart, like in your heart space. I think that one thing you're lacking is self-love and self-acceptance. And so because you think that there's something wrong with you or something about you that is inadequate, you're looking outside of yourself and feeling triggered by other people. Especially if, well, with this card, I feel like it's the things that you feel like you don't have that you're jealous of, because notice how this person is dressed in like very cool colors and outside is this golden city. But I also kind of feel like you are not, how do I say this? I think that your people are really projecting or mirroring to you your insecurities. And if you see people who are owning themselves, owning and being confident of who they are, being confident in themselves and how they look and how they speak, I think that especially triggers you, because it's like there's this feeling of, oh, if I'm not happy with myself, how dare they be happy? But I think what your guides want you to understand is, one, jealousy it's a feeling, envy is a feeling. We all feel it at some point in our lives, there's nothing wrong with you for feeling envious. But one thing your guides are making very clear is that there's a deep lack of self-love here. And not even that, I feel like it's, or that, but even further, it's like a block. There's like a wall between you and your heart. And because you're not giving yourself love and really being sweet to yourself, kind to yourself, building yourself up, it's leaking out into how you treat others as well. And what your guides want you to be aware of is that you are a really fantastic person. And I think your guides want you to be clear or be cautious of how your mind speaks to you and how, one book you would really benefit from that I'm rereading because I fucking love it so much. It's The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer. I would show you the cover, but it's on my bed and I'm too lazy to get it. But there's like a horse on the cover, a little small horse, but there's a chapter, or a lot of that book talks about how like your mind, even though we identify with our thoughts a lot, our mind is just our mind. Our thoughts are just our thoughts. They are not any like, it doesn't represent the golden truth, And Spirit wants you to consider how your mind might be feeding you ideas and beliefs about who you are and about who other people are that simply are not true. But because your mind is really one of the only ways that we understand the world and understand ourselves, and it's also the way that I think we place the most value into, what your mind tells you feels so real and it feels like the ultimate truth, but that's not quite it. And Spirit not only wants you to be confident in who you are and confident in your ability to love yourself and also love others, but more so to just like use your sword. And by sword, this could be your intuition, this could be your higher self, this could be just the new, more positive thoughts you're going to train yourself to start understanding and believing. Use that to cut through these limiting beliefs you have of yourself. Because, and let me tell you something, affirmations do work, okay? I feel like I really need to say this in this reading. If you are someone with peace and love, if you're someone who thinks affirmations don't work and that is a bunch of BS and it's just a waste of your time, just think about the fact that if you if you were sitting down and you spent like 5 minutes thinking of everything you don't like about yourself, it would make you cry. Like, you would literally be so sad. You'd be so upset the rest of the day. You would just feel like shit because your mind is fucking powerful and thoughts are powerful. But if you spend 5 minutes thinking of all the beautiful things you love about yourself, all the things you really enjoy, it would make you feel happy. It would make you feel full. It might even make you feel a little sad because you realize there's a lot to love about yourself that you didn't see before. And your thoughts are very powerful. And they are also at the same time, though, just thoughts. I feel like you're being encouraged to be a little bit more objective with how you think about yourself and how you think about others, and be more curious as to why you are so quick to judge certain kinds of people, because perhaps they are simply mirroring back to you what you are insecure about. Because what's keeping you stuck is this feeling of inadequacy about who you are fundamentally as a person. You don't feel like you're beautiful enough. You don't feel like you're smart enough. You don't feel like you are lovable enough. And all of those ideas are not true. They are BS. And but because you believe it so much, it's like, and because there's this wall, dang, two of these cards came out together. I don't remember which ones they were, but if it was these two, that'd be really funny, because I do feel like this wall is blocking your heart. But this wall is not meant for you to, when you see the wall, you don't just turn around and walk the other way. Well, I mean, you might, but that's not, I think your guides want you to be curious as to what's behind this wall, curious as to how beautiful your heart is, and what it would be like to actually be at home within yourself. Because your heart is always going to be there. No matter how much you disrespect yourself, no matter how many years you spend disliking who you are, you can always turn that around. You can always learn to love yourself, and it'll always be worth it. Because I promise you, the more you love yourself, the more happy and joyful you'll be, but also the more you will see the complete beauty in other people as well. And you will be able to see the beauty in them without having that trigger you and make you hate yourself, Okay. And for how you can free yourself from these feelings, we have birthing a new age, birthing new creations, dreaming a new world into being. Oopsie, sorry, love. All right, and let's get some tarot cards. Spirit, how can pile 2 free themselves from these feelings, from this, from this stuck feeling? Spirit, how can pile 2 free themselves from this feeling of being stuck, from their particular experience? Interesting. Because pile 1 also had the Hanged Man as their first tarot card. So that's interesting. What else? We have the 3 of Cups. It might be your friends specifically that trigger you. The people that you spend time with, the people you socialize with. Spirit, can I get some more cards? What else can pile? Okay, the World. What else can pile 1? 2. Oh my goodness. Pile 2 to free themselves. We have the Emperor. What else? Goodness. What else can pile 2 do to free themselves? Okay, we're going to take all of those. We have the 3 of Swords, the Tower, and the 8 of Wands. All right. And on the back of the deck is the 2 of Swords. So for signs and planets, we have Neptune, Saturn, Mars. And Mars rules Aries and Scorpio. You have Capricorn and Aquarius. Pisces. This is also Aries as well, so you have Aries twice. We also have 2 3s here. But okay, so, oh goodness, I have to organize these. So what you can do to free yourself. Okay, so for one, I think one thing your guides want you to understand is, like, you don't have to live by the same philosophies you've been living by your entire life. If you've spent, if every friend you've ever had, you've secretly been jealous of, and no shame, okay? I don't want to shame you guys. So I'm talking about these things very candidly because they are, well, one, this is, a message. I'm not going to, like, sugarcoat anything, but also don't feel ashamed by the fact that, like, I'm saying these things so candidly. It is what it is. We've all been here before. Most people, whether they want to admit it or not. But one thing your guides want you to understand is that it's never too late to switch things up, to change your life, to start seeing things differently, to start treating yourself differently. It does not matter if every single day of your life, like, let's just pretend every day since the day you were born, you looked in the mirror and you thought, wow, I look like shit today. I'm so ugly. I'm so this and that. Like, it doesn't matter if every single day you told yourself that. You can unlearn that. It will take some time, for sure. But you will get to a point where you will look in the mirror and you will be happy and so pleased and so in love with who you see looking back at you. There will come a day when that is the case. And it is never too late to start that journey. But one thing I do notice here with this Hanged Man and the 3 of Cups immediately is I wonder if there are people in your life who make you, specifically friends, people that you socialize with, maybe people that you go out with a lot. There are people who are reflecting back to you your insecurities. So if you're insecure about, like, physical features, for example. Maybe there are friends who look differently than you, who look the way that you wish you did, and it triggers you. You could also have friends that are maybe a little mean, or maybe make jokes about you, or things like that. It seems like there are people around you who kind of make you feel a bit uncomfortable. And with this Hanged Man, I really feel called to say, like, if there are people that don't make you feel good, it's okay to remove yourself from those communities, from those groups of people. If you feel like you need to cut people off forever, okay, that's your prerogative, and I can't control what you do. But if you also just need a couple days to yourself, or if you need to take a break, or if you choose to not go out with these kinds of people anymore, that's also, your choice. You can do that if you feel like you need to. If you feel like there are people who are getting in the way of your self-love, then it is okay to take time for yourself, to step away from those connections. But one thing too with this World card is I do think that there are things that you have outgrown. There are either people, experiences, mindsets that it's time to move forward. And I feel like you might have already been in the middle of this process with this Tower here, because there's a lot of energy here about, or a lot of cards here that talk about like things ending and then new things being born. And I think one thing that might be annoying or frustrating at this time is like you might feel like you are in a new life, or not life, that's not the word I meant to use. You might feel sometimes like you've already shifted into a new phase in your life, or you might feel like, oh, I'm at a new school now, or I'm in a new city, or I have a new job, and you're wondering like, why do I still feel stuck? Why do I still feel like I am not where I want to be? And I feel like one thing that's Spirit, why my brain is getting jumbled. I feel like can you help me channel this clearly? Okay. I think this is interesting. To some degree, I do think that you are holding on really strongly to I can't tell if it's quite ideas about yourself or if it's more so to a certain lifestyle. I think you might be someone who is driven by jealousy, driven by envy, like oh, I'm gonna study for this test because then I'll get a better grade than this person, or oh, I'm gonna look way better than everybody else here, so I'm gonna spend an hour doing my makeup. Like you might have this mentality of being driven by the feelings of envy that you have. And so you might like either consciously or subconsciously, there might be a fear of letting go of the feeling of envy and learning to love yourself more because you feel like it's either going to undo past progress or you feel like it's going to completely dismantle your life. And what Spirit is saying is try not to think about these kinds of things as endings, but think of them as new beginnings. Because yes, the world is a conclusion. Yes, the Tower is like an ending, a kind of dramatic, intense ending. But remember, the Tower is only the Tower because there's resistance. If you let the Tower fall, it's more so like just, I mean, it still might be difficult, but it's not as difficult as when it is when you resist. I think you're resisting change and you're resisting facing your shadow, facing your deep insecurities. You might even look at the people around you and think, oh no, they're the problem. Like, why are they acting like that? Why are they dressing like that? The Spirit's saying, like, you feel stuck, you feel unhappy because instead of looking at yourself and being like, why am I getting triggered by these people? Why do I feel unhappy about myself when I see somebody post a picture on Instagram, like, why do I feel triggered? You're looking at them and thinking there's a problem with them. But you're being asked to look inward and see, what is it about me and my own identity and the way I see myself that is making me feel so triggered by other people living their life? And remember, life is nuanced. So back to this Three of Cups, it is possible that people make you feel bad, that people say things about you to your face or online or whatever that makes you that makes you insecure, that makes you doubt yourself. But there is also a part of you that is unhappy with who you are. And again, no shame. Most people on earth don't love themselves 100%. It's very hard to in a society that picks apart who you are. But if you want to be free of this, if you want to be free of these insecurities and you want to live a life where you are at peace with yourself and you feel happy about who you are, you do have to face some difficult shit before you get to that point. It's not easy. It's not a straight path. You might have days where you feel so happy about who you are, and other days you feel like just complete crap. It's not a linear process, and it's not a clean process. And Spirit wants you to let go of this idea that everything has to be perfect. I feel like this emperor is who you pretend to be, who you wish you were, but like the emperor in its worst place. Because, no offense, again, no, there's no shade here, right? Because the emperor in reverse, or I guess the shadow aspects of the emperor, is like controlling, very arrogant, always thinking that their way is the best way. The emperor, even at its peak, can sometimes suffer from a lack of self-awareness in terms of how what they're doing might actually be problematic. And I know that that's an uncomfortable thing to accept, that maybe all of the that maybe the reason why you were so unhappy about yourself actually had to do, like, it might be difficult to understand or to accept that you have a role to play in your own unhappiness, but it is important to accept that and to face that in order to heal. Because I think a lot of who you might have built yourself up as this emperor, as this person who is so self-assured, who is confident in themselves, who is happy with themselves, but you built up this tower based off of one, like a weak foundation because you were driven by jealousy, but also because underneath all of that is like deep self-hatred. It's this feeling of not being good enough, of not being okay as how you are, as who you are. So you kind of put this crown on and wear the fancy clothes or whatever it might be to make yourself feel, to overcompensate for who you feel, for what you think you lack internally. But I do think that you want to work through this but I also feel like you don't know where to look, is kind of what I'm feeling here. I think you really look outside of yourself and you have, like, maybe you're someone who who critiques the beauty industry a lot because it plays off of people's insecurities, which is true. However, as true as that is, there might also be a part of you that dislikes yourself too. You see what I mean? Like, two things can be true at once. A million things can be true at once. And I think if you want to feel more at home with yourself, if you want to love yourself more wholly and have just unlimited compassion for yourself, you do have to face the part of you that feels unlovable and that feels like it is not good enough as it is. Oh, I'm not even fucking spirit guides. Oh my gosh. I literally when I was saying that, I was thinking about this card and I broke the deck just to see if it would show up, and it's here, and it's number 46, which is another 10. We have the sign of Capricorn, which is kind of in this card, is also the 10th sign. I thought we had another 10. Maybe I made that up. But the root girl, the disowned self, and it's the root. The red color, red, is associated with the root chakra. We have the rocky foundation of the Tower card. I do feel like your root, not your core self, because your core self is literally just divine love, but like your foundational beliefs about yourself are shaky because you've kind of built your identity on this idea that who you are at your core is unlovable. And that is untrue. That is complete bullshit. Whoever told you that, even if it was yourself, they're lying. So, oh geez, I don't want to leave the reading like this. I feel like I need something. Let's get one more card. Spirit, can I get one more card to leave with pile 2? A loving message to leave with them. Spirit, what do you love about pile 2? What do you love about pile 2, Spirit? 6 of Swords. Spirit loves if you've been on a healing journey already, Spirit is very proud of you and is very, very happy that Justice on the back of the deck again. You could have Libra placements maybe then. Spirit is very proud of you for the desire you have to change your life and the desire you have to move forward and to leave behind what doesn't serve you. Because notice, like I said, I do think that you have been on a healing journey. I think you just have forgotten, or not forgotten, but I think you just haven't looked inward yet in regard to this feeling of being stuck and being unlovable. I think that's something you haven't looked at yet. But Spirit is very fucking proud of you, so proud of you for the changes you've been making already and for your desire to grow and for your desire, not even just your desire, but like the actual changes that you've made to be happier, to be more at peace. Spirit is like chef's kiss. Like, that's amazing. Like, you're doing a great job. And like at this point too, Spirit's just saying, like, one, continue to trust yourself and trust in your abilities and your unique abilities. Even if your best qualities look different from someone else's, that's okay. We all have different blessings and different gifts, but be proud of who you are and do so in a way that builds you up and does not knock other people down. Because there's so much room at the top, in the wise words of Ariana Grande. Maybe you just listen to the song Get Well Soon by Ariana Grande. I think that might resonate with you. She has a Libra moon, actually, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, yeah, pile 2. This reading got me kind of heated. I'm going to be leaving your reading here. Thank you so much for watching this reading and for sharing this space with me. If you enjoyed this reading and you want to support me, you are welcome to like or comment or subscribe, but you don't have to. It's totally optional. And I hope that this resonated with you and brought you, or if it did resonate, I hope that it brought you peace or clarity or guidance or comfort. And if this didn't resonate with you, that's perfectly fine. Thank you for watching, but feel free to, disregard these messages if it didn't sit right with you. And yeah, I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching this reading, and I hope to see you again here soon. Bye. Hi, pile 3. If you chose this deck of oracle cards, then this is going to be your reading about why you're feeling stuck. So we're going to begin by just getting these 3 oracle cards to see what it is that is making you feel stuck. And then we're going to use this oracle card plus tarot cards to see how you can free yourself from this feeling or this experience. So to begin, we have the cards of Hollow Bone, Teachability. We have Empty Well, Time to Replenish. And we have Cornucopia. So for numbers, we have 11, 7, and 10. Okay. So immediately, I think one thing that's making you feel stuck is the fact that you're looking for blessings and abundance and prosperity in places where you know damn well you are not going to receive blessings, abundance, joy, etc. I think you continue to go to this well, this empty well, looking for fresh water, even though for the past couple of weeks, past couple of months, you have walked up to this well and seen that it has been empty. And I think it's because, one, you might simply be a bit stubborn, no shame, but it also could simply be like, you might not realize that there are other options for you, that you can look elsewhere for replenishment, for joy, for abundance. And for others too, I almost wonder if you do receive blessings sometimes, if you do receive abundance from this well, but it doesn't nourish you or fulfill you in the way that you would have hoped. It's like you know that you have to nurture something in order for it to grow. And that might be a mentality that you have, a mentality of like patience and taking your time with something in order for it to grow and to blossom. But it's like you have been nurturing the same seed for like a year. And it should have blossomed within a month, but even after a year, nothing has changed. And I think instead of feeling like you can look elsewhere, you continue to try to nourish the seed, even though it's not growing. Obviously the seed is metaphorical, but with teachability here, it's clear that there are other avenues, other ways for you to look at the situation, to approach the situation so that you actually can receive the replenishment and the abundance that you deserve. But it does require a fresher perspective and a willingness to take a different road than you had originally thought. So if, for example, let's say you usually feel really rejuvenated and like motivated after going on social media, like spending like 10 minutes just scrolling through your Twitter feed makes you laugh and it's just fun and it's lighthearted, and that usually makes you feel replenished. But recently going on social media makes you feel drained or exhausted or tired, or maybe you find that you just can't get off of the social media, like you're scrolling for hours on end, and you're wondering like, maybe I just need to like switch up my feed or only look at memes or something so that I feel happy again. But Spirit's asking you to think or to see maybe that you should try something else to replenish you, because obviously what you're doing with the social media isn't working. And the social media thing is just an example, but if that resonates, go ahead and take it. I think you need more of a bird's eye view of the situation as well, because I'm almost seeing this as kind of like a spiral. And the bone here is an eagle's bone. Like this part here, it's like dare I say, a flute or a clarinet or some sort of instrument made from an eagle's bone. And Spirit is like, try to rid yourself as best as you can of all those habits that you have that you know are not restoring you in a way that you need. It's okay to try something different. It's okay to try something new. You don't have to stick with what you have if it's not actually helping you in any way. And I think also a bird's eye view would help you to understand your values more, or to understand how to use your values in the best way. Because, for example, patience and being able to nurture something over a period of time is an excellent quality and an excellent thing to value, because patience is really awesome. But one way that it could be not so awesome is sticking around in a situation where it's depleting you. You don't have to wait until the very last minute. You don't have to wait till you're at the 10 of Swords to walk away from something. You can walk away at the 7 of Swords, or at the 8 of Swords. You don't have to wait until the very last second when everything is at its absolute worst for you to walk away. If you know something is not restoring you and that it's making you feel worse and that it's draining you, seeing it from a higher perspective could be very useful. And by higher, I simply just mean more objectively, because I think you are too close to the situation in the sense that you have an attachment to whatever these behaviors are that used to make you feel really good, and you don't want to leave it. And maybe what is like depleting you is something that you had originally saw as a blessing. Maybe there are friends that you made that at first were really awesome and made you so happy, and they were just like a breath of fresh air, but recently you haven't been feeling that same energy and you've been feeling a bit more depleted, and that's okay. That doesn't mean you have to cut them out, or maybe it does mean that. For you and for everyone who's watching, the situation is obviously going to be very different, but it's okay if you don't find nourishment in the same places anymore. Maybe you have to look elsewhere, but more importantly, look inward and see how you can look at the situation more objectively to see, like, okay, is the well really the problem, or am I maybe there is water in the well that I can drink from, but maybe I only go to the well when I'm completely dehydrated, and so there's never enough water to satisfy me. Maybe if I go every day and drink 1 cup, that'd be better than going once a week and drinking everything from the well. Does that make sense? Like, maybe it's a problem of moderation, or maybe it's a problem of not being mindful. So when you are drinking from the well, you're not really very aware of it, and so it doesn't feel like you're nourishing yourself. There might be a lot of different reasons as to why this energy exists for you, but it's clear that you are feeling depleted. The stuckness that you feel is actually depletion, and it's feeling like you're not receiving the same nourishment that you used to from certain places. So now we're going to look at the oracle and tarot cards to see how you can free yourself from this situation. So we have yes, just say yes. And what else, Spirit? How else can pile 3 free themselves from this feeling of stuckness? We have the 5 of Wands. It fell so gracefully from how I'm, oh gosh. Okay, well that didn't feel graceful. That was not graceful. Okay, Spirit, what can pile 3 do to free themselves from this feeling of stuckness? The 5 of Pentacles. What else can pile 3 do to free themselves? The Devil, Capricorn energy. I always feel so bad saying that, because if you're not familiar with tarot, the Devil is associated with the sign Capricorn. Like, every major arcana has either a zodiac sign or planet associated with it, and this one just happens to be Capricorn. But whenever I say that, it always sounds like I'm saying, like, oh yeah, like Capricorns are devils. They're not. They're a fantastic sign. But I always feel, oh, we have 2 5s also, which add up to a 10, and Capricorn is the number 10. We have a 10 there too. Anyway, I felt like I needed to clarify, because maybe you're a Capricorn. But oh, another 10. Would you look at that? The 10 of Wands. Let's get, oh gosh, oh goodness, yeah, these cards are just fucking flying out. Spirit, what else can pile 3 do to rid themselves? I'm not taking those. They fell out weird. But Spirit, what else can pile 3 do to free themselves from this? We have the Hanged Man. Let's get one more. This one. The Tower. Both of these cards came out in pile, and this card came out in pile 2. The Hanged Man has come out in all the piles, actually, which is funny because actually the Hanged Man, I don't know why this didn't click with me before, but the Hanged Man is a card that talks about surrender and stopping and taking a moment to breathe, either because you're choosing to or because the universe is forcing you to slow down. And on the back of the deck, we have the Fool. So in terms of signs, we have Capricorn, Pisces, Aries, and Scorpio, and this is a little bit of Aquarius. Well, not a little bit. It's Uranus, which rules Aquarius. I don't know why I said a little bit, but anyway. Anywho, so pile 3, what you can do to free yourself from this. I'm again thinking of this meme. I think it was pile 1 where this first came through, but that meme where it's like, I'm too lazy to say it again because I never know how to word it. But basically, part of this is understanding that you have some deep patterns and deep habitual things that you need to work through. We don't need to, but it's up to you. But there is this vibe that you are. You know what this feels like? I think that you're in a pretty desperate place in your life where I think you feel desperate for any feeling of connection, any feeling of ease, any feeling of peace in your life. And I think because of that desperation, anything that seems like it could make you feel better is like very tempting and very attractive. I think you feel like the people around you aren't safe. I'm not sure what that means. Like maybe you don't feel like you don't like you feel like you can't talk to people around you, or maybe the people around you engage in behaviors that you're trying to walk away from. But I feel like you carry a burden on your own. And I'm not sure exactly what this is about, but there's something that you're holding. There's some sort of like burden that you're carrying. And you know that you need to let go of it. You know it's time to let go and to let yourself heal. But I think that there's such a strong attachment to this and such fear that underlines all of this that you don't want to let go of it, even though it depletes you more and more and more. Every time you do this thing or you engage with this thing or you think about this thing, it just drains you more and more. But I think because it's so normal to you and because it's so it has become such a habit that you, in a way, you can't really imagine what your life would be like without it. I feel like one thing that Spirit is saying, though, with this Tower card is with peace and love, a Tower moment, and I don't say this to scare you because Tower moments are always in your highest good. It just might not seem like that sometimes. And depending on what this is, the Tower moment might not even be that significant or that, destructive. But I feel like a Tower moment is likely in ahead of you if you refuse to let go of whatever this burden is that you're carrying. Because I feel like you are very depleted internally. You feel very alone, and you feel like there's something that you're lacking. And then outside of you, there is just conflict and disagreement. And it seems like the people that you are around, you guys are not getting along. And so what you're doing now is I feel like you are you're trying your best again to fill yourself up, to make yourself feel good, to make yourself feel whole, but you're doing so in ways that aren't good for you, that are ultimately hurting you more than they are helping you. I never noticed this. The clothing on this person look very similar to this person. I guess they're kind of inverted in a way, but the blue and red, I almost wonder it's like I think you need to pause, to take some time away from this thing or away from this person, whoever or whatever this empty well is, whatever this thing is that you keep going back toward, because I feel like you're headed toward a Tower moment, a moment where it's whatever this is, it's gonna reach to a point where like you are forced to let go when you feel mentally not ready to, versus the other option, which is just like letting yourself walk away on your own which could make you feel a bit more sure of yourself in your decision making because you're making the choice yourself, versus when the Tower moment happens, it's like it's being ripped away from you. I want to be clear, whatever this is about, it's something, well, one, you probably know what it is if this is your reading, but whatever this is, it's also not good for you. Like, it's actually hurting you a lot. And it's something that you probably, like, you know what it is? This problem here, or this Five of Wands energy, it could be that there are people around you who are trying to get you to stop engaging in whatever behavior this is. This could be addiction for some of you. It could be like a toxic ex, or it could also be like just in general, a way that you cope that is not useful for you. You could be overworking yourself. With the Devil and the cornucopia card, it's possible that you are like overworking yourself to gain success, or like I feel like you're trying to overcompensate for an inner sense of lack that you have, and you're trying to overcompensate with that by what you're feeding yourself from the world, like in terms of like food, substances, in terms of who you're around. I feel like you're looking for something to mimic the feeling of wholeness that you desire, but because there's an underlying feeling of lack here, nothing will satisfy you until you let yourself deal with this Five of Pentacles energy. Because overburdening yourself, pushing yourself past your limits is not useful for you. And you're going to get to a place where you are completely exhausted, and you kind of just, where your body is like, I don't want to be dramatic. I don't know why the language is so dramatic in this reading, but this could be a very, like, I feel like you're going to reach a point of burnout, or a point of like where you kind of break down and you just need like a longer time to recover, versus like almost preparing yourself for it now, preparing yourself to let go now. Like, I don't know how else to say this. It's like drink the, like, don't wait until you're collapsed on the floor because you're dehydrated. Drink the water now. Like, don't drink the soda, drink the water. If the water's in front of you, just, drink it. It's kind of like that. It's like, don't wait till you're at like you're collapsed on the floor because you haven't had water in a week. Like, if you can have some now, is sort of the energy here. But I don't think this is about water. It could be, but this more like I think you're just refusing to deal with the fact that, or the reason why you're feeling stuck is because you are feeling unnourished and depleted. And instead of letting yourself nourish yourself in a way that's useful, you're looking toward the things that actually hurt you more. Because it's mimicking, it's like pretending to be like this thing, whatever it is, it has an illusion that it's good for you, or there's this illusion that it's going to help you, but it's not helping you. And with yes, just say yes. I feel like this is Spirit saying, like, if you've had a feeling that it's time to let go of something or someone and it's time to move forward, then this is your sign that it is. I also, when I first saw that, I took that as a sign that, like, it's time to also explore other options. Like, if you have been curious as to whether exercise would be a great way to like ground yourself, then try exercising. You don't have to buy the expensive gym membership if you don't want to do that yet. You could just go for a walk every day, or maybe like, do some squats or whatever it is. Or if you've been feeling like it's time to try something different, then try something different, because what you're doing right now is not helping. It's making things worse. But I also want to note that, again, below all of that is this feeling of lack. Like, it's not even necessarily a feeling of not being good enough. It's more so like there's almost a void within you, an emptiness, and you're looking outside of you to fill that void, but you're doing so in a way that's really, that's making things worse. But I feel like I need to get a card or two more to kind of, that's a lot of cards. I don't know if I want to take all these. I'm gonna take them. The Hierophant, the Chariot, and the Four of Swords. So Taurus, Cancer, and then this card. The Hierophant, the Chariot, and the Four of Swords. Interesting. Okay. So, okay. I feel like I'm really called to say the fact that you have the Hierophant, which is the fifth card, the Chariot, which is the seventh card, the sixth card, which would be in between, is the Lovers, which is Gemini energy. And I was curious if it would be there. Oh, you can't even see what I'm doing with my cards. Anyway, what is interesting is I feel like you oh my gosh, that's actually very similar to the Hollow Bone card. But I feel like Spirit's saying like part of what's missing here, part of what is kind of part of what's really missing from your life right now is your connection to yourself and your awareness of what you need in any given moment. I think you're the kind of person who like you might learn something online or through like a book or through therapy, whatever it might be, and you immediately want to implement it, and you take things that you're taught and you immediately just go out and do the things, and you kind of live by that message or live by that philosophy, but you do so in a way that where you're not thinking through it enough or thinking through it well enough. And I say this specifically because one, there's nothing necessarily wrong with that, because if something resonates with you, then it resonates with you. I'm not saying you got to second guess everything in your life, but I kind of just feel like you're kind of like disconnected from yourself in a way where you're not really like, you're pushing forward and you're doing things, and you're out and about in the world, and you're like you're engaging with society, but you are not engaged with yourself. You're very hollow on the inside, and not in like the good way of like letting the universe kind of work through you. It's in a way of like you feel depleted, and you're trying to grab at anything outside of you to fill a void. And one thing that you really need at this time is to slow down and to take time to seriously rest. And I mean for real. Like, I mean, if social media is what's draining you, delete all the apps off your phone for like just a day, even just a day, and see how you feel. Fill your time with something else. If you feel like you've been feeding yourself really junky food, and if you can eat something else that's healthier, opt for those options. If you need more literal sleep, sleep more. If you need to talk to somebody, talk to somebody. Like, I think there are things that you're doing that are making your situation worse because it worked for you at some point, but you are not the same person you were at any given time in the past. You are a different person now. And if you're finding that you don't feel as replenished through the same things that you did before, then it's time to try something new. And it's time to let yourself breathe as well. If you have been doing a lot of healing work, trying to fix this, trying to figure out what the problem is, Spirit wants you to rest as well, because sometimes it is through the times where you're taking a break, the times where you're resting, the time where you're just taking time for yourself, that things start to make sense. Because for example, let's say you just, the past week, you have been like doing intense journaling and like serious shadow work about something in your life, about this feeling of emptiness and why it's there. And maybe you feel like you're blocked from something. You can't quite figure out why you feel this way or where this stems from. And you could keep journaling and trying to force your subconscious to reveal information. But maybe one thing that might be useful is just like letting yourself go to sleep, or letting yourself do something fun. Like maybe you really like to cook or something. And so you're like, okay, let's cook. Let's, make some dinner. Let's make some brownies, whatever. And maybe as you're cooking, as your mind is focused on something else, you have a realization and you're like, oh my gosh, like I remember this thing that happened when I was 15 years old and how that really affected me. Like sometimes it really is like that. You're doing something very random and your mind is preoccupied, and then you gain clarity about something. And it also could be specifically through your dreams that you gain insight about something. But ultimately, the message with these three cards is like, make sure that you check in with yourself about how you feel about what you're learning, about whether it's actually resonating with your soul, regardless of what other people have to say about it. Does it make sense to you? Do you feel right about this? And also to let yourself take breaks from anything that you're doing. There's nothing like, actually, let me not get into ultimatums, or not, I don't want to get into extremes, but like, it's okay to take breaks. It's okay to rest. And it could also be through your rest, through letting go of this burden, through letting yourself do something differently to help restore you. It could be through that experience that you gain more clarity about this situation. Yeah. Spirit, is there anything else that you want me to say before I close this reading out? Mm, I don't think so. I think another 5. A lot of 5s here. But I think this is it. I think I'm gonna leave your reading here, pile 3. Yeah. Okay. Pile 3, that is your reading. Thank you so much for watching this reading all the way through if you did. If this resonated with you and you would like to support me, feel free to like, comment, or subscribe, but it's optional. You do not have to. It's okay if you don't want to. And if this did not resonate, that is okay. And feel free to disregard any messages that don't sit right with you. Only take what you know is for you. And I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching. Good luck to you on this journey. I hope you start to feel more free soon. And I hope to see you again here soon. Oh my gosh. Outros are very awkward, but thank you for watching. Bye.